everyone, so today we are doing the fourth and final soap for the fall collection. This one was actually a very different soap because I was not planning at all to do this design. I had a completely different idea and things just changed and I had to do a whole bunch of really quick on-the-fly changes, and after all, I'm pretty happy with this soap. So this one is inspired by Pecan waffles, which is such a good waffle choice. So if you've never had it, I highly recommend it. So if you want to see how the soap turns out, then please keep watching. Okay, so we have my base oils here and my lye water here with my sodium lactate. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this into my oils here. And I've already poured off a little bit of the base oils to pre-disperse my colors, so we'll go over that in just a moment. Okay, so now I'm going to take my stick blender and we're gonna blend this to emulsion. Okay, so the fragrance oil I am using today is actually a blend. So for the base of the soap, I'm doing a 50-50 mix of whole wheat bread and graham crackers, both from Nature's Garden. I love the scent of the whole wheat bread, but I have tried using it on its own and it's an absolute nightmare. So I only like to use it mixing it with other fragrance oils, and this one is definitely going to be a kind of an experimental one to see how it turns out, because I usually have the problem with it separating. So I just kind of want to keep an eye on my batter just to see if it's separating, which I can tell it is. So this might be another nightmare soap. And you can also probably tell there is a dramatic color change with this one. So I don't know, this might have been a mistake. I'm going to blend this extra well because I typically find that fragrance oil, the whole wheat bread, tends to fall out of suspension and separate, and I'm just gonna keep blending this until I feel like it's holding together. Okay, so I have stick blended this a lot, and this is actually pretty crazy because I have not added any colors to this, and it's very peachy pink. Definitely a really interesting thing. I don't think I saw it do quite as much of this color before. So I'm going to split my batter. Hopefully I can do this quick enough so that it does not separate. So I'm going to just split about half of it into here and do half in the big bowl. For the colors that I used, I had to kind of work quickly. So for the color, I used the dark brown iron oxide. This is from Jessica Bay ink. I bought this literally like 10 years ago, so I don't think they're in business anymore, but it's just like a medium brown oxide. And then I also used TKB Trading in the color Desert Sage. It's kind of like this light tan color. Obviously, the fragrance oil did a little bit of color morphing with it and turned it a little bit more pink, but that's okay. I don't hate it. It doesn't look terrible, so we'll see how it turns out. But this was the original kind of like two colors I was going for, but sometimes soap has a mind of its own. Sometimes soap making doesn't go how you want it, and you kind of just have to like figure out something on the fly. Okay, so I have my two soap colors here and I have my mold here. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna have to do like a simple drop, swirl, pour, all in one pot swirl, because I don't know how this batter is going to react and I don't want it to separate, so I want to get this in there as quickly as possible. So in the main pot here, I'm just gonna take the darker brown color and I'm gonna put about half of it in the front and about half of it in the back. We're just gonna do a pretty boring swirl, but kind of what I gotta go with for right now. And the funny thing about this, I really was not even planning to do this soap tonight. I had a completely different plan, and just like on the drop of a hat, I was like, nope, I have to change my soap. I gotta do something different. I had some other plans I was gonna do, and I need to delay those. So this is pretty much an off the top of my head kind of design that I was working on, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it in a minute when I get to the embeds. But I had to do a lot of really quick thinking and quick work, so I just hope, fingers crossed, that the soap turns out decent. Okay, this is probably going to be a case of like a weird color morph. We won't know till it's ready, but I am going to just pour this in here. So the last time I used that fragrance oil whole wheat bread, I used it completely on its own, and I'm not lying, I literally had to stick blend it until my stick blender was about to give out, and I didn't want to overheat the motor and ruin my stick blender. So I literally had to keep whisking it by hand for no joke, like at least 30 minutes straight, just to keep it from separating. So I would never recommend using that whole wheat bread in cold process soap at just 100% of that fragrance oil. If you want to mix it into another one, I think even 50% might have been too much for this soap. I would probably keep it at maybe like a third if you're doing a fragrance blend, because it was definitely starting to separate. But I can tell that luckily it is holding together now with that extra blending, so hopefully there will be no issues with that. It looks pretty good right now. Okay, so we're gonna leave this to set, and I'm gonna start on mixing up the frosting. Okay, I have my piping ready. I went with like a pale kind of buttery yellow color. I thought that would work well with the theme of the soap. So I am going to start piping this. I have to say, this piping definitely set up pretty quickly. I kind of wasn't paying attention for a minute because I didn't think it was going to set up this quick. And all of a sudden I turn around and I'm like, oh snap, I need to get this going before it gets too hard to pipe. Luckily, I was able to kind of whip it down just a little bit more with my spatula, kind of bring it back a little bit more fluidity, and I feel like this is the perfect texture now, so this is great. And now my favorite part, we are going to add the embeds. So I'm gonna move this over here real quick, and I am so happy with these embeds. Let me tell you really quickly. Like I said earlier, my soap design that I was going to do tonight was not this, and I just kind of came up with this on the spot, and I didn't have a mold for this. So really quickly, let me show you what I did here. I made the waffle parts of the soap, and I had a mold for that, but I wanted to do like a pecan waffle, and I did not have a pecan mold, but oh my god, look how good these turned out. So I actually had some pecans in my pantry, and I made my own mold tonight to get this done. So I just whipped this up. I did 4 little pecan slivers in here and made my mold myself. I've mentioned it before, it is so nice having silicone mold making kit on hand, just because for moments like these, like I did not have a pecan mold, and oh my gosh, this turned out great. I am so glad. I will definitely be using this mold again in the future, and I didn't have to delay my plans for the soap because I didn't have this otherwise, so I think it just turned out great. And then on the waffles, I just did like a light brushing of like a diluted brown pigment and alcohol, just kind of give it a little more depth and make them look like they've been like cooked and toasted. And I did a dark brown through the center cracks of the pecans, just to give those a little bit more depth as well. But oh my gosh, you guys, I'm very happy with these embeds. I feel like these are the best embeds I've made in a while. I'm just gonna start by putting these in, and I wanna kind of push these in a bit because I don't want those kind of popping out or anything. So yeah, I have to say, like I said, this was not a planned soap. I was kind of going through what I was going to do tonight because this is the last of my fall soaps, and the one I had planned was kind of one I am going to do in the future. It was going to be a coffee soap, and I like coffee soaps. I think they smell really good, but then I was thinking I had another plan for the coffee fragrance that I already had, so I didn't want to use up that fragrance oil because I'm going to be making a coffee soap soon, and it had just completely like slipped my mind, and I was like, well, I'm not going to be ordering any more fragrance oils for a few weeks, so I didn't want to use up what I had. So I was like, okay, if I'm not doing that soap anymore, I gotta come up with something quick. So I was trying to think like, okay, what is like a really, I don't know, not typical fall thing, but something that would fit with it. And I went through a few options, and I ended up landing on waffles. Number one, I love waffles. Everybody loves waffles. They're the greatest. And if you like pancakes more than waffles, I don't trust you, but it's all right. We can still be friends. Oh no. See, this is what happens when I start talking. I was gonna do a drizzle on here. I still am. I'll do it after the embeds. I was gonna do the drizzle first, but that's okay. Okay, and now we're gonna add the little pecans on this side, and I wanna just do them flat. I don't want them sticking off that because I feel like they're just a little more secure this way. Just gonna put all of these little pecans on here. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I was trying to come up with something kind of fallish, and I know, like, you know, obviously waffles are anytime kind of thing, but there's something about pecan waffles that are just so fall to me, and I love them. They're one of my favorites, and I'm not gonna lie, I used to hate pecans until probably about two years ago, I think. In one of my classes, we were doing a like Thanksgiving kind of celebration, and my teacher had like brought in a pecan pie, and I had never liked pecan pie. To be honest, I don't think I'd ever tried it, because if I had tried it, I would have loved it. And she had the best pecan pie I have ever had in my life, and I want to know her recipe. She did say that one thing she does differently that other people don't do is that she cooks all of the pecan pie fillings on the stove first, and then she bakes it. And I was like, wow, okay, I have to try that. I've never made a pecan pie, but oh my gosh, ever since I tried hers, I was like, I have been missing out on one of the best pies my entire life, which is crazy because pecan pie is one of my dad's favorite pies. So we definitely had it around, and of course, you know, it's a staple for Thanksgiving, but I have been missing out all my life. So I thought pecan pie, pecan waffles, very, very fall. So this is how it turned out so far. I'm going to do the drizzle real quick though, before I forget. Typically I like to do this before I do the embeds, just to kind of keep the embeds clean. Okay, so I'm gonna take my little pipette, drizzle some of this on here. I took some olive oil and I did like a little bit of leftover gold that I had from my honey soap, and I mixed it with a little bit of brown. It's not quite the syrupy color I was wanting it to be, but overall I think it's still like really pretty, and I kind of like the contrast of the dark syrup over the light yellow frosting. So I'm actually kind of like not mad at this at all. So I'm just gonna drizzle this across here. Of course, it's not the most syrupy looking. I feel like it should be a little more translucent to look a little bit more like, what's the word? Syrup. I just completely forgot. And I love the thing about drizzles is I feel like it really kind of defines the piping ridges a little bit more, and it just looks so nice. So it's definitely a really cool technique. If you've never done like a soap drizzle with oil and micas, definitely give it a go. It's really fun, and I think it looks so cool. So, all right, I think I'm pretty happy with that, and I'll just save this for another project. And this is how the soap turned out. Here is a little bit of an up close. I want to get more into doing like up closes. I always forget to do that. So this is how the soap bar turned out, and this side with the pecans. So I'm gonna let the soap sit for a few days, and we're gonna come back and cut it, and I will share with you guys what it looks like. I'm really intrigued to see what the bar of it's gonna look like, because I'm not gonna lie, that pinkish beige kind of color wasn't really what I had in mind, but we're just gonna go with it and see what these look like in a couple days. Okay, everybody, I have these soaps ready here. I have unmolded it. It came out super clean, super perfect, which is awesome. I hate whenever they come out sticky and I need to let them set for a while. This is about 3 days later after making the soap, so we are gonna go ahead and cut these now. Okay, as always, gonna start off by shaving a little bit off the side here. All right, and this is how the first little end piece looks. Oh, this smells really, really good. I'm very happy with this scent combo. I don't really do a whole lot of custom blends with scents, just because, I don't know, I feel like if you don't test them, you run a higher risk of kind of messing things up, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like to just go with things, so I don't always have time to test fragrance oils and stuff. I just kind of go with it, and I pray for the best, which is not the best way to go, but I'm not gonna lie, it is what I do. Oh, this looks awesome. So this is what the first bar looks like, and you can see that the color does lighten up a little bit, so I'm sure the frosting color will change, but I love that swirl on the inside. It looks really nice. Alright, and this is how the final soap turned out. This one is so much fun, and I really love how this one turned out. It's just so warm and so cozy, and honestly it makes me want to take a bite out of it, but I wouldn't recommend it. But if you are interested in purchasing one of these bars of soap, they will be available on my Etsy page on November 6th at 12 p.m. noon Central Time, and I will have a link below of where you can get this soap. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram and link is below. And until my next video, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.